Perhaps this may seem strange to say, but also those who own a large yacht have a problem: the onboard tender. The garage on the Ama 94, a 28-metre yacht, is just 330 centimetres long. Now, I know this information is only interesting to the fortunate few who will buy this yacht, but suppose you have a short garage. You would be obliged to also have a very short boat. Someone, however, has found a genius solution: to pack the tender. This is not exactly a discovery, one might say. For 60 years, tenders have been inflatable and therefore able to be deflated, packed and stowed away. Yes, but this one has a fiberglass hull and is unable to be deflated. You can see they are unloading the tender from the yacht. Its shape is quite strange. The bow is folded over, but this is only for stowage. Watch. The bow folds out and is now led into place by a winch installed in a compartment in the stern. With an electric pump, air is pumped into the tube to a pressure of 0.2 bar, as in all dinghies, but here the process is automatic. Here we are, from an object of 330 centimetres long, 165 centimetres wide and 123 centimetres in height. We have a raft 5.2 metres long and 2.1 metres wide. It's called Extender, and the name tells you exactly what kind of product it is. A tender that can be extended, and is now an extender, because now it's a real raft for navigating. The series currently consists of 3 models: 520, 610 and 640 centimetres in overall length, and on average can be shortened by about 2 metres. But they already anticipate the arrival of other models from 420 to 480 centimetres. This product can be personalised by choosing colours, graphics, fixtures and accessories. It is also possible to have a boat fully custom-made. This is a true dinghy, with the capability of transporting 7 persons. It falls under the category CEC and is able to carry a 60 horsepower engine. But how is the hull locked in place with this configuration? This is the real innovation. There is a system composed of an unyielding rope attached to a winch. The vertical cut of the bow increases the boat's length at the waterline, improving its longitudinal stability. The aft hull extends below the tube until the end to achieve more lift. Among the most curious of the accessories are the seats, whose forms are cut from the tube.
Bene. Ora che lo abbiamo montato, lo proviamo.
Good. Now we finished putting it together, let's try it out, just as you would any other boat. We leave from the port of San Remo, Porto Sol, on this rather cloudy day with a few waves.
La potenza di 60 cavalli su un gommone di 5,20 m è esuberante.
60 horsepower on a 5.2 metre raft seems exuberant if there is little load on board. But considering this tender can carry more people, well, maybe the rating is correct. Furthermore, if you want to water ski, by installing a shorter propeller, the engine becomes more reactive and the skier will be lifted out of the water immediately.
E per quanto riguarda la planata?
And now, planing, ready. There it goes.
In partenza, alza un po' la prora.
As it begins, the bow raises slightly, slowly climbing, but you should consider, with a load on the bow, passengers on board, the trim is correct.
Il contatto con l'acqua è ravvicinato, ma non arrivano spunti.
We are in close contact with the water, but no spray reaches here. After all, a tender should bring its elegantly dressed guests to dinner ashore and return them perfectly dry back on board the yacht.
Il fatto che questo gommone sia diviso in due
The fact that this boat is divided in two is absolutely no cause for concern, even now with these waves, because the system renders it perfectly solid. We are at 4,200 revs per minute and the speed is 18 knots. In the turns, the list is accentuated considerably, but the spray continues to avoid us. I gave it a bit more gas and now we're at 4,800 RPM and travelling at 22 knots.
Non è la giornata ideale per provare la massima velocità.
Well, it's not the ideal day to try the maximum speed, but
GPS in mano, contagiri sotto controllo, un po' di trim.
GPS in hand, RPM under control, a bit of trim and 28 knots.
Ragazzi,
Guys, we can also go fast.
sapete cosa vi dico? Che mi trovo così bene a bordo dell'Extender 520.
You know what? I find it so pleasant on the Extender 520 that I've decided to remain on board and watch the transfer of the AMA 94.